Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and today I'll be discussing my thoughts and first impressions on Last Epoch. I haven't gotten too far into this game. I think I'm at the end of chapter 3 on one of my characters. I've been exclusively playing hardcore characters on the seasonal content, so obviously I can get a lot more rare drops, I level up quicker. It's a lot more fun experience, even though I did have a character die, mainly due to the fact that I was mourning the death of my friend's character, who died earlier, and then expected me to carry one of his other toons a lot late, well, like 2 chapters in, 2 later chapters than his, so he was like literally no help on any fight, and minions have more health in co-op, but more on that later. Basically, I will be comparing this game probably a lot to Diablo 4, since that's like the last big ARPG release. And also it's pretty standard practice right now to meme on Diablo 4 and compare it to Last Epoch. Now, again, I am not late game into Last Epoch, and to be fair to Diablo 4, I started having problems with that game. End game in Diablo 4. Early game, I was fine. I was having so much fun. So I can't really say which one is better. Diablo 4 is more accessible, but I feel like for the price, Last Epoch is very, very good for its price. So right off the bat, if you don't want to watch this whole entire video, yes, I feel like Last Epoch is very good. My first impressions are overall very positive. Now let's get into the video. Obviously, right now you should be seeing some Acolyte gameplay. I just started this character today, so you'll be seeing, like, I think the first few chapters throughout the video. I'll probably cut it up a little bit and show you bits, and then overall movement is fine. So there's no dodge button in this. It's very traditional ARPG where your movement is just click and point, click somewhere and your character will move to it. So no dodging mechanics, which is fine. A lot of the big attacks that bosses will do are well telegraphed beforehand, so you have time to move out. So there'll usually be like a beam or something on the ground that says, hey, this is going to be a damage zone, you should probably move. And you've got like 3 seconds to move out of it. If it covers a wider area, obviously you have a little bit more time. So really, there isn't a need for dodging in this game. It isn't built around trying to dodge. It's just move out the way. And your movement abilities mainly evolve around moving towards an enemy. But there are some classes and characters that have abilities that allow them to move out of a situation, depending if they're like kind of glass cannony or not. But overall, movement is fine. I kind of like the key bindings. I like putting stuff onto my right click. I wish that you could do stuff on your left click, but left click is purely just for movement. You've basically got enough of 5 different skills for each class, and there's a lot of skills to There's a lot of skills to choose from with each class, and then obviously you get into specializations later on, which gives you even more options to skill. Overall, there's a lot to like. I definitely like the leveling up system. I like putting stuff into skills, and if you want to respec certain skills, so for example, you have your main skill abilities that you can level up, and then you have class skills that you can separately level up, but you're only allowed to level up 5 skills. So let's say for my Sentinel, I like to use Warpath, which is like the Beyblade skill. I can specialize into leveling up Warpath, and that has its own skill tree. Your class has its own skill tree, and then you have a specialization. So for example, with the Acolyte, I eventually went into Necromancer, and that has its own separate page where I can put points into skills. A lot of the leveling up and skill point allocation made my character feel very strong, so most of the time I wasn't even concerned about picking up new armor and stuff, and I wasn't really noticing a difference. But when I gained a new skill and points towards that skill, it felt fine, it felt great. Don't worry, you can always respec stuff later on for skill specialization. You basically, how many points you lose, how many points you want to reallocate, you'll lose some of them, which means it will go down a few levels. But if your skill specialization is lower than your level, it levels up a lot faster. So, you know, early on respecing, you might lose a few points if you want to respec early on, and then all of a sudden, you know, it doesn't level up as fast, but later in the game, let's say you just only want to respec everything, you'll lose a few points, but you'll probably notice getting those points back up really quickly. So it's fine. You can also change around what you want to specialize in if you suddenly like get bored of a skill and you want to respec. The only thing you can't respec is your specialization of class. So you can't be, oh, I don't want to be a necromancer anymore. I want to be, I think it's a wraith. You can't do that. You've got to start a new character. But within those classes, you can obviously respec the certain skills and point allocations. Point allocation in your class costs gold. Point allocation, reallocation for your specialized skills, just, you know, you'd lose a few levels, so you have to kind of re-level up again. Perfectly fine. I think it's a great system. Lots of choice to pick from. A lot of experimentation. I'm having a lot of fun kind of like maybe readjusting some stuff. So for example, when I was playing the Acolyte, I was focusing on Bone Curse, and then I was moving down that to a Bone Cage, and then I tried it out and I was like, no, that sucks. I want to change it around. I may show that footage later on in this video. I don't know. I can't remember. But overall, I definitely like the skills, how they level up and stuff, and how your class levels up. I like the comparing. You can compare items on the ground to your current equipment, even though it doesn't give you the full story. But still, you can kind of filter stuff. So you'd be like, I want to filter these certain skills, so only show me if these items have these skills. That's great. It's fine. It's pretty good. You can go to a gambler to buy new items that may have a certain rarity. The prices are all over the place, so you might find a weapon that costs 200 to gamble, and then another item that may cost like 5,000 to gamble. It's kind of all over the place, so it's a good chance to go check back at the gambler. It's not just a fixed price like some other games do. Overall, it's good. It's very classical ARPG with obviously a modern look. Story-wise, this is where it kind of falls flat. I did, for the sake of this video, try to get into the story. Obviously, Diablo 4 has much higher quality cutscenes. It's good that this game also contains a lot of voice lines that are actually, well, there's a lot of lines that are actually voiced, so a lot of the lore stuff, you can find these books pages or books hidden across the world. I say hidden, you can pretty much see them from far away. And their voice, and they give more in-depth into the story and stuff. There's an opening cutscene that's kind of slightly animated. It's not fully animated, you know, stuff slightly moves around. Overall, I wasn't really too interested in the story. There's some time travel stuff going along. Gods disagreeing with themselves, and even more gods disagreeing with themselves. And it's sort of like, okay, I guess. So story isn't the main point of this game. It's very much the gameplay. It kind of goes back to doing dungeons, but all the dungeons are exactly the same. So each time you go into a dungeon, if it's the same dungeon, it will be played out exactly the same. I think Diablo 2 had like some sort of procedural generated stuff where each time it could be slightly different. And then thinking Diablo 3, there was like a few variants in dungeons where they could have slightly different layouts. This game, it's every single time you go into a dungeon, if it's exactly the same. But for some reason, there's always this fog of war where you have to move around to see more of the map, even in towns, which kind of gets ridiculous, because I'm like, I'm in a town, I've been to this town, why are you hiding everything from me? I should know the layout of this town already. Kind of annoying. Another annoying minor nitpick that's annoying is the quest system. Quest system itself is good, it's fine, it's standard, it's just the icons. So if the icons will be above a character to say that this is a quest giver, and when you've received a quest, the icon goes slightly darker, but most of the time it looks exactly the same. So a lot of it, I feel like I need to go back to the quest giver to finish the quest, but in reality I don't, and then I get confused, like, where do I actually go? Because even though the quest icon tells you where to go, sometimes it's not actually a quest icon, it's just like these little white circles that appear over somewhere, and it's like, no, that's who you need to talk to now. You can't talk to this person. And then when you talk to them, it will show the quest icon. Gold is for main quest line, silver is for side quest. It's just slightly annoying that you have to remind yourself, oh, it's slightly darker, so I don't need to talk to that person. Oh, there's like white circles coming out of this person, so I need to go talk to this person. Minor inconvenience. Another negative, I know we've gone from one slight annoyance to a negative now, is the cash shop, cosmetic shop. It's good that it's not forced down your throat. It took me like a day to go, okay, let me take a look at this cash shop, and the prices are ridiculous. So, cash shop is totally not worth it. Prices are way too much. You have to buy another currency to then get your points. But it looks like they do the whole system where, well, they don't do the whole system where you have more points than you actually need. From what it looked like, it's you pay for the points and they will like pay for a whole item. So you can spend £8 and you can buy this item for the exact amount, no points left over. It's just the amount that these items cost is ridiculous. One item costs like £8, and I'm like, that's almost 1/3 of the value of the game for a single cosmetic item.
I see.
No, I know the industry has gone really extreme, because there's like that horse mount in Diablo 4 that costs like £40 or something, and it's like over half the value of Diablo 4, and you're like, I don't think this is worth the whole what? So obviously the game industry has gone to a point where they can just charge whatever they want for cosmetics, and people will obviously buy them. So that's annoying. Anyway, talking about classes, I've only played 3 different main classes: Acolyte, Sentinel, and the Sorcerer. So far, the Acolyte is being one of my favorites. The Sentinel is my second, and the Sorcerer is my third. Even though I feel like this Sentinel character is a lot weaker, Sorceress and Acolyte feel really powerful. So I definitely feel like the Mage classes are going to be a lot stronger than the melee classes for now. But overall, they feel great. The Acolyte Summonmancer feels like an actual summon answer. It feels like summoning minions is a viable option, like the Necromancer should do. Well, in Diablo 4, it felt like the Necromancer's minions got massively nerfed and just made them entirely irrelevant. This game feels like it's the minions actually mean something, and I like the fact that I don't need to kill something to summon the minions. I can just summon them anyway. It's a great time. All the classes feel good so far. Early game, Acolyte and felt a lot weaker, but later on, it felt a lot stronger. And by early game, I mean literally starting out the game, the Acolyte felt like trash. And then by level 5, when I got Bone Curse, it's just like, oh, this is what I do now. Okay, easy. And then most of the game, I felt like the Sentinel was definitely like slowing down, wasn't doing as much damage. But it turns out, just play with people. So this game is offline or online. You can play with people. You don't have to play with people. Playing with people increases the enemy's health by like 150%, something like that. But for some reason, when we play together, our damage doubles. So all of a sudden, we're like, you know, an attack that does like 40 damage is now doing 80 damage a hit, and it gets ridiculous. And all of a sudden, my God King's Muse Sorcerer is doing 11k damage. It's just doing like a hit to the boss that takes away like 29% of the boss's health in just one hit. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. So play with other people and you're going to get a lot of damage done. It's a lot of fun. You don't have to play with people. The gifting system is okay. You can get items that allow you to gift uniques or legendaries that are account bound to you and gift it to a friend. So that's nice. I don't feel like we should have to do it like that. I feel like we should just be able to trade with our friends. But I guess I like the fact that there is an option there. You just have to find the ruin. Annoying thing with like picking stuff up is your crafting material doesn't automatically go into a crafting bag. It goes into your main bag. And your main bag does the whole Diablo 1-2 thing where, depending on the weapon, it takes out a certain amount of slots. I liked in Diablo 4 that everything just took a slot. That was good, but now this game goes back to Diablo 2 where everything takes up different sizes, and I don't really like the fact that the materials are in the main bag, and I have to click an extra button to take them into my material bag. It's needlessly complicated, to be fair. It's like the gold goes into a separate system. Why doesn't the materials? Why? Overall, though, I've been having a ton of fun on hardcore. I feel like the difficulty is fairly balanced. So each time you enter into a new zone or a new chapter, you feel slightly weaker. Enemies are taking longer to damage, but by the time you're at the end of the chapter, you feel a lot stronger. You're like powering through again, like picking up new skills and abilities and doing side quests to get more skill points and stuff. You just feel like you're leveling along. So each time you start a new area, it feels like you're slightly weaker, but by the time you finish with the area, you're like, no, this is fine. So I kind of like the fact that it doesn't feel like it's getting harder and harder. It's like it gets harder, then gets easier, then gets harder, and gets easier. And by getting harder, I mean it's just like I'm noticeably doing it's taking slightly longer to kill an enemy. Overall, if you like Diablo, especially like you like Diablo 2, and Path of Exile, you're gonna have some fun with this. Again, this is first impression. This is an end game, so my opinions can completely change by the end game, and I could be like, the end game is trash. Early game is fine, especially for the price. I mean, I paid what, £80? I paid £20. God King, you paid £60 for a mighty copy of Diablo 4, but £80 to play Diablo 4 essentially 2 weeks earlier, and this game costs £30. Yeah, Last Epoch's great value for money. It's some reason games these days that cost like £30, especially this year, have been really good. Helldivers 2, Power World, and Shrouded. I'm like, wow, okay, no, these games are totally worth it. So screw the games that cost like £80 and above. You know, your quad A games. It's the double A games that are the real value for money. Anyway, if you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike. Comment below what you think, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.
Morse. Marvelous. Together on the track. Let's go. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, sus.